some of you may be familiar with this, and some of you obviously may not be. So it may seem trivial to some of you, but I think it's worth just reviewing or going back over, is just how we find and we navigate things in CD3. Obviously, when you first log in, you'll be presented with a dashboard view where, depending on the dashboards you've added yourself or subscribed to, you'll have across the top the different types of dashboards and the different data that's available. So we're going to work mostly off the National Student Census today. So that's obviously the view when you first come in. We present our dashboards to you generally with a series of metrics at the top, a number of reports or charts down the page, and then we also have additional reports available to you on that key reporting area over on the right under associated reports. And then what we'll usually have is some text and information around that dashboard you're seeing that can help you understand what you're looking at. And we provide you some links to things like training and videos. So that's just the general feel of what you'll see when you first log in. Now, I think most people are comfortable when they come in. They see a dashboard. I've got reports I can access on the right here. I'll go into a little bit further, but I can drill through from charts and things like that here. But one of the things we probably pick up when we go around is that I'm not sure everyone's so comfortable in how can I find more content. There's more reports out there. Not everything's on our dashboard. So just to give us a bit of an idea of how we can search and we can browse, up the top here we have the navigation bar. And I can go in here, and if I've got an idea of something I'm looking for, or a topic or a keyword, I can use that to help me search. So for example here I might look for a report called the Student Census Enrolment Trend, and then I can go and search for it. And what that's going to do is take me into the browse area here, and it's actually, depending on the view you have here, it's found me some instances. If I expand the folders, I can see in here it's found me some reports that match that search string I put in. So Student Census Enrolment Trend. So this is so you can understand how you can find more of the reports that are out there, not just what is presented to you on the dashboard. So what you'll also see is when you're in the browse is we can make this search a little more advanced, a bit more specific. So I can click on the advanced, and I can use this to narrow down the type of content I want to search for. So if I have a look here, if I'm only interested in looking for dashboards, storyboards, for example, or reports, I can narrow down my focus on the content type. So that's just to show you how you can go and find specific things. So if you knew there was a dashboard out there but you weren't sure how to find it, so I could clear my search here. I want to just look for all dashboards. I can even specify the source from where the data is coming from. Now, in most instances, this will be the Federated Data Mart, but I could narrow it down again and say, I actually want to find the Student Census dashboard. I want to be able to add that. I want to go and find it. So I can really narrow down my search. Once I'm happy, I can search. Now what I've got on the right are my results, and I can see here I've got, and if I scroll across for you, you can see it's telling me the type of content is dashboard. So that's just to enable you to better be able to navigate and find more content. Obviously, the dashboard's limited. We might only display 3 or 4 charts and add a few associated reports. But quite often, we've built a number of reports in the background. Or within your diocese, you've developed a lot of reports, and they'll be sitting in those diocesan specific folders. So that's how you can go and search for your content. Okay, so you can see along the top here, as I said, by default we always land on our dashboard, but we can use these data steps here to go to the different areas of CD3. So currently where the arrow up here is telling me where I am, I'm sitting in the browse area. So if I want to return to my dashboard now, I'm just going to go back up here and click on dashboard. Okay, so we're back to our dashboard. Again, you can see by the fact that it's highlighted, it's got a little arrow there, that this is the dashboard I'm currently focused on. So now that we're in our dashboard, we just have a little bit of look at how we can explore that further, and again, how we can navigate around our dashboard. So we've got a series of charts presented here, and you can see when you hover over a chart, you get a little series of icons just appearing in the top right-hand corner of that report, which give you options. So by clicking on the plus button, I can expand that report and look at it in isolation and look at it in more detail. So that just allows me to just narrow my focus down to solely that report. And obviously you can see here now, obviously we displayed the chart on the dashboard, but there is a table that goes with that. And you can now obviously have a look at that in that view there. So that's one way you can explore further with the dashboard. While we're within this report, we don't have to return to the dashboard. We can now go over to the left-hand side, and you'll see you've got a couple of options here, and one is open report. And again, we get presented with that same search capability that I showed you up front, where we can search. I can expand that to look for advanced options on that report. So I might go and look for a different report now. Search for that. And just minimize the... And there you can see my result there below. And now I can open that report from here where I am by clicking on the plus button. And I can open that report there. And I didn't actually have to jump out of that other report, go back to the dashboard, go to the browse menu. So just again, learning how you can navigate your way around and where the little menus and the little tips and things are to make life easier. So there's, again, we've opened up a different report there. Now while I'm in this report, you can see at the top, I've got some more options that I can do. So I've got options to export that. I suppose if you wanted to export that out to PDF for the purposes of printing, that is available to you. I can share it. I can add it to my favorites. So in this instance, I'd like to add this report to my favorites. Okay, so that report's now been added to my favorites. Now, when I'm in this view of the report, if I want to exit the report, we use the cross buttons in the top right-hand corner. So you'll notice as you get used to the system that they use a system of crosses in here. Usually larger buttons will allow you to close pages, and then once you get within a report itself, you'll get smaller crosses which are there to close menus. So I want to jump out of this. I'm going to close that off. And now I've gone back to my dashboard. Now, something else that you may or may not be aware of when you're on the dashboard, obviously we presented this report to you in a chart. You do have the ability with this little icon here to switch the view. So if you're also interested in what the data behind that is, then you can do it there on the dashboard itself, and you've actually got the table view now, and we can switch back to the chart. So just again, little things that you may or may not be aware of that help you discover more about that report. So I added that to my favorites. Now what you see on the left-hand side is I have some more information in our my content panel over here on the left. So I've got, obviously we'll have a look at the filters in a little bit, but I've got anything that I might have in draft mode, and now I have a favorites. So if I expand that, these are two reports that I've added. So again, it's just a quick way, a little shortcut really for you to go and access reports that you might commonly use. So some of those options in your content panel, they won't actually appear until you've either accessed content or you've added anything to your favorites. So if you don't have any favorites, you won't see the star there yet. So once you're browsing reports, if it's something you use often, add it to your favorites, and then that's one way you can access that quickly. Okay. Again, on the dashboard, we can interact with those charts, those tables in different ways. We can do this through drill throughs, and we can also narrow the focus down of our reports by using user prompt filters. So when we're looking at a chart on the dashboard here, if I hover over it and you see the icon will appear there, it's telling me there's an option for me to drill through on here to narrow down the focus to go and look at something. When we're looking at the table, we can tell a drill through is available because the data is blue. So that's telling you that there's drill through option available on that data itself. So, for example here, I'm going to go and click on, so we currently have a trend line here for all time for student census enrollment. I'm going to actually go and drill through on the year 2010, and that'll take me down to the data view, if you like, the table of data. And now we can see here under here, it's telling me we're only looking at 2010 and we're getting the enrollment figures for 2010 only. So that's just another way you can, without actually, we haven't created a report yet, but we can obviously manipulate it. We can change the focus of that report by using the drill through or filters in this. So there again is the drill through is an option for you. And what you'll see is if you have a look, when I did drill through, it is essentially creating a filter, and you'll see that it's gone and set the census year to 2010. So you'll know that that's what you're currently looking at as well. So if you now want to look at that table, but you want to look at it again for all time, we can reset our filters. We have options here above our filter menu, and this one here on the left is reset. You can see now my census year is going to run, it's actually going to go back to the maximum value. So it's actually going to display them for the current year, if you like. So you can scroll down there and see this will actually run for 2017 where we've had enrollment data submitted. Now, if you're happy, you've seen that report, I've got everything out of it that I wanted. Again, how do I get back to the dashboard? We talked about using the cross buttons. That's one option. The other way is what we call breadcrumbs. So you can see here you have a little path essentially being created for each level of the drill through. So we're currently sitting in this report. One way for me to go back to that previous level is to just use the link there and click on the dashboard. So when you're using drill throughs, that's probably important that you can use those breadcrumbs to go back a level of the report or back to the dashboard. Okay, so the last way is to use to I guess just check you're seeing or to get more information out of the current dashboards or the reports on the dashboards is to use the filters that are provided. And these are user prompt filters where you're able to go and control what values you would like. So I might go and change this to only have female students who are in year level 3. And it's just a matter of clicking on the values you want. You can select more than one. I can select year 2 and year 3 and year 4 in this instance if the filter's been set up to allow you to select multiple values. But for now, I'll just run it for year 3. As you can see, as an admin in that I'm seeing all diocese. Obviously, when you're doing this, you only see your own individual diocese. So I'll run that, and we can probably the most obvious way to see what's happened there is the metrics at the top, because we've got no male students now because we've narrowed our focus down to female only. And all of our charts have changed to reflect those filters that I've built in. Just a little tip, don't forget to hit the go button. You do need to hit go when you select your filters. So if I go and put that to male and hit the X button, it doesn't automatically change. You do actually need to hit the go button to activate the selection of the filters. Okay, and as I said, if you would like to put that back to the default view, again, you've got that reset option in the menu there. You can see now gender's back to both. I've cleared out those filters that I applied, and we've got our male numbers again at the top there. So that's just a quick overview of how you can navigate, how you can find content, and I guess how you can narrow down the focus of what we've essentially provided to you there, or you've done yourself, or you've shared with someone else, how they can still, we haven't even created a report yet, but you can still narrow down the focus of that content and get different results out of it.